In this video, we're going to talk about removing colors from the swatch panel. We're going to talk about understanding color separations, and then we're going to talk about the difference between tint and opacity. First, let's talk about understanding color separations. Now, right now, as you can see in a previous video, I told you that this whole column needs to be gray. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take these two colors right here, and I'm going to make them Pantone, the actual Pantone spot colors. So I'm going to, I selected both of them, double click, and I'm going to make them spot colors. Okay. So now you can see there's these two little round dots here, which means that they're spot colors. Well, now let's talk about why this is important. In the wonderful world of print production, every spectrum in the color wheel, if you will, or actually every color in the color spectrum is pretty much printed using combinations of C, M, Y, and K. So let's say, for example, when you're on press, you to make sure that your document is efficient and it is you're actually printing without with a minimal cost, making your job cost effective, is you just want to make sure you only generate those 4 colors. But now let's see what happens in this scenario right here. If we go just to take a look and see, if we were to send this document right here out to print, and we wanted to see exactly how many plates it would generate, we can preview that in InDesign. We can take a look at that and see how many plates this particular document would generate. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Windows. We're going to go up to go down to Output, and then we're going to slide over to where it says Separations Preview. All right, so let's say we're going to say Separations. We click on that, and I'm going to open this up. And as you can see right now, when this job goes to press, it's going to print the 4 process colors right here, plus an additional 2 plates for the Pantone colors. So basically, this small job right now is going to be a 6-color job, all right, printing those Pantone colors, because the Pantone colors, they have their own color values, if you will, if you don't convert them. And that means now that this job is no longer cost effective, because instead of printing 4 plates, you're going to be printing 6 plates. All right, let's address that. So if we go back to where we were, where we actually, we're not taking away, we're not diminishing the quality, the color itself. We're just saying we don't want it to be its own color. So we're bringing it back into the CMYK realm. So as you can see now, this whole thing is gray. So let's check it out and let's see how that affects our output. So we get on Output. We're gonna say Separation Preview, and there you go. So now you can see that we're only going to generate 4 plates for this particular project. So we're not, even though these colors will appear in the job, all right, we're not going to generate any extra plates for this particular project. Next up, we're going to talk about efficiency in terms of how to best set up your jobs from the very beginning. Now, in this particular scenario, we're only working with those 2 additional colors that are being that were brought in from the Illustrator file. And if you notice, we have these other colors at the top that we're really not using, because they come, they come straight out of the box with InDesign. Here's a tip. My tip to all power users, and that's what you guys are going to become, is to get rid of those colors, because you're really not going to use them. I mean, you're just not. Get rid of them so that they're not in your way, because truth be told, you may be working with a document. As a matter of fact, you will be working with a document that's part of our exercise 8 assignment, where you're going to have a lot of colors that are going to come into your job, and you really don't want to be stumbling over colors that are not being used. So the way you get rid of colors that are not being used is, and now remember, the Pantone 7687 and the 2985 came in with this Illustrator file. So the way you get rid of unused colors is you would go to where you have the swatch palette. In the upper right hand corner, you click. Let me just bring this out so you can see it. Bring it out. All right, so you click here in a little grid, and then you say select all unused. And what it's going to do is going to select all the colors that are not being used, and then you're just going to simply delete them. All right, so that this way now you're not stumbling over colors that are not in use. And truth be told, you're going to add colors that you want, not the colors that InDesign is going to give you. And when we go up to Windows and we drop down to Output and we preview it, it's still going to generate those four colors of CMYK, so it's not going to affect that at all. It's just that InDesign gives you those generic swatch colors, just that you could have something to start out with. But my advice is to just get rid of them altogether and just build in your own colors as you need them. Lastly, we're going to talk about the difference between tints and opacity. So let's say, for example, in the previous video we got rid of our unused colors. So now we just have the two colors that were brought in from the Illustrator file. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create two identical frames. All right, let's see that one. I'm going to give that the I'm going to give it the 7687 color, and then I'm going to give this one the same color. So they're going to be, both are going to be the 7687 color. Now, the first one, I'm going to change the tint to 30%. Okay, and then the second one, I'm going to change the opacity to 30%. Now, at a glance, they don't look much different, but the difference between the two is very simple. As I select these two and I just bring them over the logo, watch what happens. As you can see, the tint is basically, it's still a solid color. It's just a tint of that color. Whereas the opacity means that it's bringing in a transparent effect, which means that whatever is behind it is going to show through. So that's the primary difference between a tint and a value that is transparent, which would talk to the opacity.